Now in today's video, I want to talk about why sometimes the birds stop laying. Like sometimes you find your birds have been laying at a very good percentage and then suddenly it drops or they stop laying. Some of the few things that happen and cause them to stop laying. That's what I want to share with you today. If you're a poultry farmer or you're planning to be one, these are things you need to know. So watch this video. First, like it, guys. Thank you for always loving our videos about farming. So if you're watching me for the very first time, my name is Asperia and I'm a passionate poultry farmer. Right now I'm here in my poultry house. As you can see, the birds are having their evening food, and yeah, I felt it very good to speak to you, and yeah, we learn together. So click subscribe, like the video, join our family, and let's grow together. Yeah, let's get right into the video. Now, the very first thing that is going to make your birds stop laying eggs is sickness. When you find that your birds have been laying like at 90% or 80% or something, and then suddenly you see them drop or not lay, just know that possibly there is a disease. So first get these birds checked. Go into the poultry house and inspect, move around and see whether the birds are healthy. Look at the feeding. Are they feeding well? And if you discover that they are not feeding well, they are not looking healthy, and then plan to check them about any particular disease that could be causing a drop in production. And most diseases that cause drop in production of eggs could be coccidiosis. Now coccidiosis is very common. You know, it is very common because it comes from the litter. Most times when the birds start diureting and you know those intestinal problems, they come from eating dirty litter, dirty water, or undisinfected water that has no disinfectant. Like it's not clean, it's not safe. It causes them to get that very common coccidiosis. So when you see a drop in production, look around. If you see any form of diarrhea, especially that comes with blood, just know that that is coccidiosis. It is severe. It needs to be treated. The good news is that it's treatable and the birds can recover and they start laying again, except when it is too severe beyond treatment. You know, so look around and see if there could be a disease. Other diseases include those respiratory diseases like bronchitis, those ones that infectious coryza, those ones that attack birds. They come like flu and cold. They sometimes have cough. Those ones are also very dangerous. They cause very big drop in production. So when you look at your birds and you discover there is any form of sickness, get them treated, isolate them, feed them, give them vitamins, boost their immunity, and then they will recover and they start laying again. And the second thing that could possibly cause low production could be poor feeding. Poor feeding, maybe you're feeding the birds with, you know, less food that is not adequate for their bodies. Now each bird is supposed to eat certain grams of food, which I'm going to share in another video. So as they grow, you'll find that they change, they start eating more food. So once you keep feeding them on maybe a less concentration of feed, maybe you find that you're giving, instead of 10 kilograms, you're giving them 5. You find you're underfeeding them and then they are not getting enough food in their bodies, so they do not lay adequately as they should. So look at the feeding as well. Are you really feeding the birds very well? Improve. And then another thing that could cause the birds not to lay eggs is stress. And stress can come from very many factors in the poultry farm. It could be due to maybe poor ventilation of the poultry house. Now sometimes when it is a hot season or a cold season, ventilation helps a lot in this poultry. Now in my house here, when it's a cold season, I make sure I put curtains and I use tarpaulins, which I use to cover so that rain will not fall inside. As you can see around, it's open. I have used chicken mesh and chain link and iron sheets down, so it's really cold when it's a cold season. So I have to put tarpaulins that in case there's a heavy or windy rain, it doesn't enter here, and it protects the birds from getting that cold and that sickness that comes out of coldness. Also protects the house from getting wet, especially the litter. The moment rain enters here, it is going to wet this litter down, and the birds are going to chew that litter, and they will eventually get those intestinal diseases and eventually die or even drop in production. So make sure you have a very good ventilated house. If it is, in a hot season, make sure you remove those curtains, the tarpaulins, and let the air enter in, and then the birds are going to breathe very well, and it will prevent them from getting sick. There is also this gas that comes from the litter as they poop inside. It is called ammonia. When you enter here, before you turn the litter, or if there is no good air, you feel like there is a very bad smell that comes from the poultry house. So when you do not have enough ventilation or good ventilation for your birds, they are going to get sick. Trust me, they are going to get sick from that ammonia because they are going to absorb it themselves. Another thing that could cause diseases in your poultry house and possibly a drop in production is if the birds are stressed due to overcrowding. Now, each bird is supposed to have a particular space for it to move around and play, especially for layers. So in each house you're supposed to have at least 6 to 7 birds per square meter. But sometimes you feel like, let me bring more birds, and I maximize the space. But when it comes to when these birds grow, the time of laying, they are big, they are now overcrowded. You find they are not breathing well, they are stressed because they do not have enough space for them to move around and get fresh air. So they always feel stressed, and that stops birds from laying very good eggs. Now these layers are very delicate. Anything small can stop them from laying. Let it be noise from the background, let it be the barking of dogs. It can really make these birds move to the eggs. They are very good, but they are also very, very, very delicate. Very, very many things can stress them. So look around and see what could be stressing your birds and probably causing a drop in production, and then handle it. And then another thing that could be causing low production could be lacking some multivitamins, the vitamins in their bodies. Now they need calcium, they need vitamins, they need a lot of things in their bodies to grow. So the moment you deprive them of some, then eventually, just like a human being, they drop in production. So get multivitamins, boost them, give them those egg boosters, and let them improve on their immunity, and they will again start laying, and your birds, the production level will stabilize. All these things I'm sharing, some of them I've seen them here in my poultry farm, and I've seen some other from friends' farms that have happened. So be very careful when we share the information. Take it very positively, because it can happen on your farm. So when you know what happens, then you can deal with it very urgently. Then another reason why your birds are not laying may be the particular breed that you're doing. You could be doing a wrong breed. There are people who buy like traders, and they tell them that these birds are dual purpose and they lay eggs. They are both for laying eggs and meat. So when these people bring the birds, they feed them so badly on feeds that are not proper for layers, and you find that these turn into broilers instead, and then they don't lay eggs. So be very careful on the breed. Are you sure the breed that you are doing, they are layers? Are you sure the birds you have ordered are really going to be layers? Be very sure and convinced that the breed you're doing is for laying eggs. So don't be misled. Then lastly, what could be causing your birds to stop laying? Maybe their age. Probably they are mature. The eggs, as these birds grow old, these hens, they eventually stop laying. So how old are your birds? Are you sure they are still in the laying period, or they have really grown and they need to be laid off? So get these things that I've shared, put them in consideration. Look around your poultry farm, observe, and be able to discover one reason why your birds are not laying eggs. I know I could share a lot more on this video, but let's keep it short. If you have anything that you would want to add here, please add it here in my comment section, and people are going to read it, and we shall learn together. Thank you so much for watching. I believe you found this video helpful. Give it a like and subscribe.